Will Clark, the young Australian, 29 years of age, trying to see if he can bridge across to Roglič and perhaps see what they can do about staying out front of this group that has swelled a little after the earlier activity, but still significantly smaller than the large bunch that set out from Baku this morning. So confirmation of the second climb of the day. Roglič taking the points ahead of Clark, with Butts mopping up a few more points from the main group just a little bit further back. Clark makes the junction. So now we have two riders out front. Primož Roglič of the Adria Mobil squad. 24 years of age, the Slovenian. And he's got his Australian cohort. Now with 2:50 on the next group on the road, and as many as 9 minutes back to the third group. So pretty much anyone, I think, that wants to be in overall contention has to be in that main group behind these two riders, but almost 3 minutes their advantage. As they head towards Ismaili. Kilometres remaining as they head along the old centre of the Silk Road. 32,000 inhabitants of Samaki. Now just one classified climb of the day, but it is that first category ascent, the summit of which is reached with 34 kilometres remaining. So 10 kilometres to go, and MTN Quebec visible at the front of the bunch. Not everybody getting the line absolutely perfect there. A few riders tiptoeing through that as they noticed a little bit of gravel on the inside. Riders deciding that discretion the better part of valour, and deciding to take a slightly wider line through there. Trying to get into the best aerodynamic position and get a little bit of relief for the those aching backs as well. Always the rider on the front has the opportunity to take the best line through the corner. So Roglič and Will Clark have the advantage out front, but this group is still chasing hard behind. And they're not going to find it easy to stay clear all the way to the finish. Not much more than 26, 27 miles to go at this point. But for Roglič and for Will Clark, it's going to be a big ask to see can they stay clear all the way to the finish. And disappointment once more for MTN Quebec. That's Linus Gerdemann. For the second day in a row he hits problems, and this is not exactly the quickest mechanical problems with that chain as it jammed in. I think it's time to think about getting a new bike, but has Linus Gerdemann got one that fits him? So they wrestle to get that chain on board. We look forward to, we'll just take a quick commercial break, back after these.
Tour de Azerbaijan, moving ahead. Discover the new Eurosport.com app. Improved interface. More in-depth live coverage. Exclusive content. The latest news. Eurosport.com, available on the App Store.
Dikkat et oğlum.
Pass op. Pas op, pas op, pas op.
Attentie in spate, maar.
Nee.
Kom, kalm.
Kalm.
Jetzt die Chance auf der anderen Seite.
Schiet, shoot, doe maar. Precies.
Kom op.
Eurosport Live Score is available on the iPhone and iPad for free. Every competition, every result, live comments. Eurosport Live Score, available on the App Store.
Fast, sleek superbikes, man and machine on the ragged edge. A world championship packed with irresistible speed and unrivaled daring. Superbike World Championship Imola, Sunday, live on Eurosport 2.
You're very welcome back to stage 2 of a tour of Azerbaijan. The riders making their way from Baku to Ismaili. Total of 187 kilometers for the riders today, and Will Clark of the Drapac team desperate to try and get back onto the tail of his breakaway companion Primož Roglič of Adria Mobil. These two riders have been out front for much of the stage, forging maximum advantage of around about 6 minutes. That was whittled away. And now with 34 kilometers remaining, almost at the summit of the second climb of the day, sorry, the third climb, the first category ascent, that Primož Roglič leads the field across and takes the maximum points on the day in the mountains competition. This 24-year-old Slovenian, a former ski jumper, his second year on the Adria Mobil team, and clearly he's a man going places. This is his most prominent performance in international cycling so far, 10th in the Slovenian National Championships last year. Meanwhile, the group behind is splitting on the climb, with plenty of activity coming from the Australian national team. Etienne Kebeke involved there. Drapac trying to cover this move. Synergy Baku as well, of course, very prominent, the local squad. Desperate to try and do something in this, their home race. But it's Robert Power of Australia that leads the main group across the climb, third over the line. Not given too much of an opportunity to forge clear, but clearly there's very few riders still in contention at the front. And there's confirmation of the final climb of the day. Primož Roglič takes the points ahead of Will Clark. Robert Power of Australia makes it two Aussies in the top three. Juan Jose Cobo making his presence felt with fifth across the line on that occasion. So as they approach Ismaili, plenty of spectators out on the road. The word is breaking out. The Tour of Azerbaijan is on its way, and this is a race that's growing in stature. Meanwhile, Will Clark has managed to get back onto the wheel of Roglič. These two riders will ride together through to the conclusion of the stage. 9 kilometers remaining. Can they hang on for what would be a famous victory? Never looked likely, but just the size of the group behind has been absolutely decimated, whittled down, and not really the coordinated chase that they might have hoped for. And as a result of that, an excellent opportunity for these two riders to hang on for what would, as I say, be a famous victory. Green jersey of the points leader worn by Matti Murgeli, second in that competition going into today, but the overall race leader, Kenny van Hummel, many minutes back at this point. Kenny's not a climber. His big target was this sprint finish yesterday. He'll look towards another opportunity perhaps on Sunday with when the race finishes in Baku with a series of circuits. Van Hummel always knew he was going to lose his jersey today, but he will have enjoyed the opportunity to wear the overall classification leader's jersey in his first appearance in Tour of Azerbaijan. Meanwhile, the group behind has connected up once more with Murgeli and his two breakaway companions called to account and dragged back into what's is a group that has swollen a little bit since that final climb, with a couple of representatives from the Giant Shimano development squad towards the back there. Still not a big enough group really to get organised. And that's crosswinds really have hurt the riders today. Even moving up the line, as we saw that Australian national squad rider, I should say, he was struggling to move up the line after another hard day of racing. 187 kilometers in total. 183 of them have been completed at this point. Mugerli will fancy his chances in the sprint, but what will the opportunity be? Will it be for third place, or will it be sprinting for the win? Can they close it down to the two riders out front? Primož Roglič and Will Clark have been out front for much of the stage, and a superb job they're doing as the chase behind starts to get a little bit organised, and a little bit of assistance from the riders coming down the line on the left for those riders moving up on the right. And the chain gang working in something approaching perfect synchronicity, about as good as it's ever going to get in these kind of windy conditions. Heading towards the, heading past the Ismaili Olympic Centre. The infrastructure in this nation has been developed at a pace. Inside the final 3 kilometres, and those two riders are hardly going to be caught at this point, or are they? Still the group behind tries to get organised. Caja Rural is the green jerseys of that squad very visible as they try to get organised. Meanwhile, Will Clark and Roglič can almost smell the whitewash. The school children have come out in force to cheer on these heroes of the Tour of Azerbaijan. Stage 2 coming to a conclusion, and the question is, can Roglič hold off Will Clark? Will Will Clark be able to find a way past his Slovenian breakaway companion? They've been cohorts in battle for much of this stage, but now they're very much competing against each other, and it's Will Clark on the front that's driving for the line to try and keep this move clear. Roglič is more concerned, I think, with stage honours. Will Clark has the possibility of improving significantly his overall position. And a little bit of a conversation there. Roglič and Will Clark working together all the way to the line because they need every second they can possibly get. Coming in towards the finish line, it's Roglič that leads them through the series of turns towards the finish in the town centre of Ismaili. Heading for the finish, Primož Roglič on the front, ahead of Will Clark. Meanwhile, the group behind is very close indeed, and it's Roglič that's going to lead it out in the blue and red of the Adria Mobil squad. Running for the line, it's all about making as much time as they possibly can. Will Clark's not in a position to contest this one. It's Roglič that takes stage honours ahead of Will Clark as the bunch just fails to close them down. They're sprinting for the minor positions. Perfectly judged effort by the two riders up front. And it's Rafael Andriato of Neri Sotoli that manages to get up for the final podium position on that occasion. But no doubt about the stage winner. It's Primož Roglič who gets his fist in the air. The biggest victory of his short career in cycling. Former ski jumper, as I say. Not too many ski jumpers make the talent transfer to cycling, but he's made it with ease. And Will Clark will be celebrating too, because that was a very significant amount of time gained on his, well, not too much time gained on the group sprinting for third place behind, as Andriato pumps his way to a third position, but still a handful of very valuable seconds for Will Clark, and not too many strong riders behind. Primož Roglič gets stage honours. He's confirmed as taking the victory ahead of Clark and Andriato. Mugerli adds to his points total in fourth position, but the leader of the mountains classification is also a fine sprinter. He finishes the day in fifth position. And the riders fated on the podium at the conclusion of stage 2 in Ismaili. It's Primož Roglič.
Congrats, that's first stage in mountain for Tour Azerbaijan. That's a win for you. Tell us about your day.
I don't know, it was a really hard day. Like yesterday, the wind make it really hard stages.
And finally, you took the decision to attack quite early in the mountain. It was the moment to do it?
Yes, I attacked before the first mountain on the descent. We go away with one guy, and then we decided and work well together and came to the finish.
They certainly did work well together. Will Clark working well to take the overall lead by 9 seconds from Vitaly Bukts, with Maciej Mugerli in a sound third position. Regina, Bilbao, Stimulak, Zangerle, Zakharin, Vasilik and the rest in the top 10. And it's Will Clark, a proud man, who dons the blue overall leaders jersey of Tour of Azerbaijan. 29-year-old from Australia adds to a stage win in the Santos Tour Down Under in 2012. Now has the overall lead in the competition. Question is, can he hang on to it?
Tell us about your day. It was a strong battle today, huh?
Yeah, it was like fighting all day. Basically, the first 40 Ks were relatively easy with a bit of a headwind and a small two-man breakaway. And then after that, yeah, the road sort of opened up and we hit the crosswinds. And yeah, I found myself in the front group there, a small, probably 20 riders, and sort of stayed there and sort of rejoined a bit. But then